just lost one of my regulars.
What's up?
Doesn't matter.
Come on, get in, I'll give you a lift. I'm going down to the garage.
You're gonna charge me?
Give me a cup of tea.
Yeah, how much is this bloke owe you?
A lot.
Well, what do you call a lot?
1,500 quid.
That is quite a bit, isn't it? Well, why won't he pay you? I assume it is a he.
Yeah.
Why won't he pay you back?
He's gone bankrupt.
Oh, dear, what a shame. He just hasn't got it.
He has.
Yeah, but how do you know?
I just know, that's all.
Yeah, but how?
Well, he's still running around the Rolls Royce for a start.
Ah, but is it his?
It was. He's made it over to his wife along with the house and everything in it.
Oh, very handy. So now he's a bankrupt with a rich wife.
But he's still got money hidden away somewhere.
Why did you come to lend him 1,500 quid?
He said he needed it for his business.
Well, since when have you been such a big financier?
I saw it was an investment. He said he could double it for me in 3 months.
You want your head examined. Oh, sorry. Who is this financial wizard?
A chap called Peters.
Melville Hayden Peters.
Yes.
He's just taken multiple finance for 15,000, which is why they're not very pleased with me at the moment.
Well, how does that affect you?
I did the credit inquiry on him, didn't I?
I see.
So that you and me have a good cry and forget all about it.
Frank, I need that money back. I'm in real trouble without it. Hey, you know all about him. Can you help me?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Please?
Well, don't know the facts or the figures, don't know anything about it,
Oh,
do I?
that's easy. He's up in the bankruptcy court tomorrow morning for his public examination.
Melville Hayden Peters, public examination.
Take the testament in your right hand. Repeat what is on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give in this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Melville Hayden Peters?
I am.
And you live at 23 Witten Road, Windsor?
Yes.
Will you please address all your answers to the learned registrar? Now, Mr. Hayden Peters has been trading on his own account for the past 5 years as a shirt manufacturer. Last April, a receiving order was made against him on the application of a creditor, Laidorn Fabrics Limited, who had previously been given judgment on a writ for £9,750, owing to them for material supplied to Mr. Hayden Peters. At the creditors' meeting, Mr. Walters was appointed trustee, and the debtor's liabilities were found to amount to £83,517, and his assets came to £187.29.
How are you living now, Mr. Hayden Peters? Do you have a job?
No, Your Honor, my wife is taking care of me.
Ah.
In the style to which you've been accustomed, Mr. Hayden Peters?
Beggars?
Well, you've made your house, furniture, motor cars over to your wife, or so you say.
Yes, I most certainly did make them over to her.
Then where is the proof of this transaction?
You haven't got it?
I have not.
I'm sorry, my solicitor should have sent them on to you. I thought he'd done so.
It's not your solicitor's duty to hand these documents to the receiver's office, it's yours.
I'm sorry, I thought
It was your personal responsibility to see that those documents were lodged with the receiver on the 10th of this month. It's now the 17th.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I told my solicitor...
This is a very serious matter, Mr. Hayden Peters. You do realize that I could commit you for contempt of court for failing to lodge those documents? You do realize this?
I do now, Your Honor, yes.
When do you want these documents, Mr. Francis?
They're extremely important, Your Honor. The value of the property assigned by Mr. Hayden Peters to his wife, if indeed the assignment is in order, could well cover the entire amount of his debts.
Which Mrs. Hayden Peters, I presume, doesn't want to pay.
No.
Any more than you do.
I resent that, Your Honor. With respect, it was a most improper remark.
Don't try to play the lower deck lawyer with me, Mr. Hayden Peters. You cannot accuse me of impropriety and at the same time be treating me with respect. By all means, do one or the other, but you cannot do both.
As Your Honor pleases.
May I continue with the examination, Your Honor?
Without these important documents?
I would like to carry on.
Who is Mr. Hayden Peters' solicitor?
Mr. Jackson Adams of Eton.
Is he here?
No, sir.
Yet he holds these documents.
Apparently so. I can continue without them, sir. My assistant has seen them. They are dated, it would seem, February 1970.
And you wish to put it to me that the debtor was insolvent before that date?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that's nonsense.
Be quiet, please. Now, I shall want these documents produced in court. I would suggest 1 week from today.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Jackson Adams, who seems to have served his client extremely ill so far, will appear as well.
Very well, Your Honor. May it please Your Honor to continue. Mr. Hayden Peters has been trading on his own account as a shirt manufacturer since 1967.
Yes?
It's not a judge's car. It's not the mayor's car. It belongs to a thieving bastard that's been bankrupted in there. And I hope you're going to give him a ticket.
You think they'll leave him with the £2 in his pocket? Let's see, anyway.
Thanks.
On January the 10th last, Laidon Fabrics were pressing you for the payment of some £2,000, owing to them for material supply.
I think that's right. Yeah.
I have a copy of their letter here. I can assure you it's right.
If you say so.
On that day, you paid into your bank a cheque for £1,100, payment from Digby Wholesalers for a consignment of shirts. On the same day, you withdrew in cash a sum of £1,000. What did you do with it?
I'm not sure.
No, come. People don't just forget what they do with £1,000 in cash.
Except when they come into this court.
You obviously didn't offer to settle part of your debt to Laidon Fabrics.
Well, it wasn't enough. I know it sounds silly, but I needed twice that amount, so I put it on a horse.
You put it on a horse?
Yes, and it lost. Lots of it went that way.
How much?
Oh, about 20, 25,000, maybe more.
You took money out of the business?
The business was doing very badly. I couldn't pay my bills. It was all right up to 3 years ago, and then, what with the squeeze, money being tight, I couldn't pay the suppliers, so I gambled.
And lost?
Unfortunately, yes. If I'd won, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in the south of France.
Did you run an account with a bookmaker?
No.
Then how did you do your betting?
On the course, cash bets.
Have you any proof of these bets?
Well, no. All you get for cash bets on the course is a ticket, and when you lose, you simply tear the ticket out.
So, you can give the court no proof that the money went the way you say it did?
You could ask the bookmakers.
We'll ask you instead, Mr. Hayden Peters. Where did you place this bet for £1,000?
I told you, on the course.
Which bookmaker?
Well, I can't recall which one. There could have been about 30 bookmakers.
All right. What was the name of the horse you backed?
All I can remember about that particular one was that it fell at the 4th fence.
You just spent £1,000 on it. What was its name?
That one was Vance's Yacht.
And this was just one of many cash bets?
Yes.
All cash bets made on the course?
That's right.
Which courses?
Well, mainly the local ones, Windsor, Ascot, occasionally Kempton Park, Newbury.
I shall want details of all these bets.
I can't recall them at the moment. I need time to work them out.
We'll give you a week, Mr. Hayden Peters. You'll bring them with you when you come back with your solicitor and with the deeds assigning your property. I propose to adjourn this examination until the 24th, if you're agreeable, Mr. Francis.
As Your Honour pleases.
Adjourned until the 24th. You may stand down, Mr. Bishop.
I don't think so.
What's she like, the wife? Hmm? The wife, the one with all the money, what's she like?
Oh, she's nice. Younger than he is. Pretty.
Do you know her well?
Well, I used to help her put him to bed.
Huh?
He got breathalyzed. Lost his license just over a year ago. I used to drive him a lot then. That's how I got to know him.
Big drinker too, is he?
I used to take him home paralytic, what, a couple of times a week? And that's when Sandra and I had to get him upstairs.
Oh, you've done her a couple of favours then, haven't you?
I suppose so.
Then why not try and get the money from her?
Well, I didn't lend it to her.
You won't get it out of him.
They are, they never trust a woman.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, it was Sandra that talked me into it.
Didn't you check on the business before you put money into it?
No, she told me I was onto a good thing. Well, anyway, checking on his business didn't do you much good, did it?
Got the other half?
Yes, thanks.
Two halves, a bit of please. I'm sorry. You were ahead of me. Serve the gentleman first, will you?
Large scotch and a round of ham. That's very civil of you.
No, not at all. You've been working hard all morning, I haven't.
Ring court?
Yes. Tricky customer, that, Mr. Peters.
You a creditor?
Well, representing one.
In what capacity?
I'm a private inquiry agent.
I see. Well, you heard it all in court. I'm afraid I can't discuss the case with you.
Your salary is coming, sir. That's 48 altogether. Two halves, was it?
Please. Am I allowed to put a couple of general questions to you?
Of course. I'm not obliged to answer them.
If you think a man isn't telling the truth about his business affairs...
I elicit the truth, usually. Go on.
What inquiries do you make?
None.
Surprises me.
I could be handling 30 bankruptcies at once. I haven't time to make inquiries.
Leaves things wide open for the villains, doesn't it?
You ought to know human nature rather better than that.
No, tell me.
A bankruptcy, particularly when there are a lot of small creditors, creates a lot of bitterness. If any of the aggrieved parties finds out there are concealed assets, they can't wait to tell me.
I see.
Someone was obviously aggrieved enough to hire you.
You're right.
Oh. If you hear anything, do let me know.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, not at all. Sorry I can't be more help.
Cheers. Was he any help?
Could be.
Well, what are we going to do?
You mean, what am I going to do?
You are the expert.
I know as much about fiddling bankruptcies as you do, and if the official receiver can't get at the facts...
Don't let me down, Frank.
Well, how can I let you down? You're not paying me. Or am I being tactless?
Well, when I get the money he owes me...
Oh, I get it. Private inquiries on a sale or return basis.
Oh, come on, Frank, you know it's not like that.
Isn't it? Tell you what I will do, though.
What?
Something you don't seem to be able to. Go and ask the lady. Mrs. Hayden Peters?
Yes.
My name's Mark. I'm sorry to bother you. Can I have a word, do you think?
Yes, what about?
It's about Tom Lewis. I think it's possible you might be able to help him.
Tom?
Yeah.
Well, what's the matter with him?
Can I come in and explain?
Yes, I suppose so.
Thank you.
This way.
Right.
Oh, excuse the mess. We've just come back from our holiday. Do sit down.
Thank you.
What's this about Tom?
He lent your husband some money.
I think you're mistaken.
Oh, my information was that he had.
Well, I don't know where your information can have come from, but it's incorrect.
Is it?
Most certainly is. Tom Lewis invested some money in my husband's business. Well, there's no question of a loan.
Well, whatever you like to call it. Can you let him have it back, do you think?
Well, what's it to do with me?
Do I have to explain that?
Mr.
Margaret?
You're going to have to explain several things. So why not start with that?
Tom Lewis conveyed some funds to your husband. He says lent. Well, now he wants it back. He needs it for his own business.
Well, then he must talk to my husband about it. Oh, it's absurd you coming to me and talking about this kind of thing. Anyway, where do you stand in this? Who are you?
I'm a friend of Tom's. What's the point of talking to your husband? He hasn't got any money, has he?
What do you mean?
Oh, come on now, Mrs. Peters. You must know about your husband's business affairs.
What is there for me to know about them?
You know he's bankrupt.
Bankrupt?
You mean you didn't know?
No idea.
Well, you knew he'd made the house and everything over to you.
I signed some papers about the house a few months ago, but I'd no idea what they involved.
When was it?
Last year sometime. In the autumn.
Last year. You knew he was in financial trouble.
He never talked to me about it.
But didn't you realize he'd made everything over to you?
You mean it's mine? The house, everything?
Oh, yeah.
I have to think about this. It's a bit of a shock.
I bet it is.
Where does this leave Tom?
Where your husband dumped him on the rocks.
And what are you asking me to do?
This house is yours. The Rolls is yours. Everything your husband ever owned is yours. I'm asking you to honor one of his smaller debts because it means a lot to the man who's been swindled.
Swindled?
Your husband has gone bust for over £80,000. Yet he manages to go on living in style. What would you call it?
I'm in here, Mel.
Oh.
Huh?
This is Mr. Marker.
Is it me you want to see, Mr. Marker?
Is there very much point in that?
I don't follow.
Well, you're broke, aren't you?
I beg your pardon.
Bankrupt. I've been watching you all morning, haven't I?
I see. And you've told my wife?
I thought she might be prepared to honor your debt to Tom Lewis.
No, she isn't. If it's any of your business, I kindly leave my house.
Your wife's house.
Out.
Goodbye, Mrs. Peters. Nice to see how the poor live these days.
Why did you let him in?
How was I to know?
No, of course you weren't to know.
Well, why didn't you tell me?
Didn't know how you'd take it. Thought you might not understand.
You thought perhaps I'd walk out if you were broke, is that it?
No, it's not it. And we're not broke. Far from it.
Look, Mel, would you mind explaining to Bird Brain here exactly what you've been up to?
The business is going down the drain. I've known it for 2 years. Too much competition. Orders have been falling off. No chance of things getting any better. I'm not a limited company, which means if I go bust, everything, all this, will have to be sold up for the creditors, so I made it over to you.
Why didn't you become a limited company?
Well, that way I save tax. Don't have to be too fussy about keeping books. I've been taking money out of the business and stashing it away. I told the receiver I'd blown it on the horses. Can't prove a thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm looking around for new businesses. Very soon we'll start up again with a slate wiped clean.
And what exactly have you made over to me?
The house. Both the cars, a few shares, put some money in your bank account. You're quite a rich lady.
Fancy that. Can I do what I like with all this?
No.
Is there something to stop me?
You're not feeling sorry for that guy, Lewis, are you?
I didn't say that, did I?
Well, don't.
And what if I did, Mel? You couldn't stop me, could you?
Afternoon. I see Mr. Adams, please.
I'll see if he's in. Mr. Marker, isn't it?
You're much too good to be working here. He's got to be in. The pubs have just turned out. See what I mean? Thanks. Hey, get him a drink of water.
I should give up those damn cigarettes. I suppose it's too late now.
Sounds like it.
Sympathetic, aren't you? What can I do for you, Marker?
You were supposed to have been in court yesterday morning.
I was? Why'd that damn girl remind me? Where?
Bankruptcy. Public examination of Melville Hayden Peters. They wanted to see the deed settling his property on his wife, which you still hold, don't you?
Oh, dear me. Who was sitting as registrar? Rod Johnson?
That's right.
Well, he wouldn't have been pleased.
No, he wasn't. Well, after all, you are supposed to be a solicitor, an officer of the court. He was highly displeased. He was even rumbling on about contempt.
Yes, he would indeed. Very unfortunate. I don't seem to have made a note of it. I can't understand that.
You must have forgotten.
It's too bad. So what were you doing there?
Looking on for one of the creditors.
Indeed. And what do you hope to do for him?
First, I want to see those deeds.
Oh, do you?
No, I'm entitled. If they exist.
Oh, don't be silly.
But come on, let's have a look at them then.
Too late as usual. The crisis is past.
That's what you think. The deeds.
All right, I'm looking for them. Girls, absolutely useless. Or maybe they're in here. Oh, yes, here we are. You see, I addressed it. It should have been posted a week ago. You'll find it quite in order.
This was made out when?
Well, the date's at the bottom, sometime early in 1970.
February the 26th. Mrs. Peters said that she signed these sometime in the autumn of 1971.
Then she's mistaken.
Mind you, she doesn't know, as you and I do, that a property of settlement isn't valid unless it's made 2 years before the bankruptcy, isn't that right?
That is the law.
Otherwise, the property can be sold and the proceeds distributed among the creditors.
Well, that was signed more than 2 years before Peters was bankrupt.
Do you know I doubt that?
That's a very serious accusation.
I believe Mrs. Peters, and I'd sooner believe her than you. So would a court, I think.
Well, Mrs. Peters wouldn't swear all that away to her husband's creditors. She knows which side her bread is buttered. Don't kid yourself.
No, I'm not. Never surprises me what people do for money. What did you get out of it?
I could sue you for that.
If you remember.
It's all right. It wouldn't be worth it. What can I get out of you?
True. Very little.
Look. What difference does it make to you when that document was signed? £6 for the inquiry. That's your fee, isn't it?
And 50p.
It could pay you a lot better to forget it.
How much better?
Well, Peters would pay. Would you like me to ask him?
Do you mean to say he's got money to spare to buy me off?
You're not that naive.
You're telling me he's got money?
They don't take everything from you. What shall I say to him?
Tell him he gets stuffed.
£4.70p.
Hey, it's more than that.
50p win at 9 to 1, that's £5. Less 6% betting levy, £4.70p.
You pay tax on the stake as well.
You do indeed.
Can't win, can you?
Got a winner too, Frank?
Yeah. Big-time loser, so he says. You're called Peters, Melville Hayden Peters. Do you know him?
Can't say I do.
You got a pitch at Windsor, haven't you, George?
Yeah, in Tattersalls.
Were you there last January the 10th?
Certainly I was. Always use my pitch at Windsor. Wouldn't miss those days out in the fresh air. God, the atmosphere in this place.
Yeah, but this bloke says he put a big bet on a horse called Vance's Yacht, which lost. I'd like to know if he did.
Vance's Yacht? Don't remember it. I'd have to look at my books, see if I took anything on it.
Well, I'd be obliged if you could check for me.
Come into the office.
Tom.
Why don't you do something for me? Like placing your bets here.
Oh, I do the National and the Derby with you. It's all I can afford.
Do bob each way. Get rich on punters like you.
Yeah, on punters like Peters, you would.
How much you bet on this horse?
£1,000.
1,000? I couldn't take a bet that size.
Why?
I'd have had to lay it off.
Too much?
Too rich for my blood.
You'd have remembered a bet that size, would you?
I'll say. Didn't ask me to take it. Must have laid it with one of the big boys on the rails.
Oh. So you can't help me then?
Don't think so, Frank.
But you heard of a geezer betting big sums like that?
Oh, the word goes around. We know who the big punters are.
Well, he claims to have lost 25 to 30,000, all on local courses.
Melville Peters. Suppose it's possible. I've never heard of him. Here's your race. 3 o'clock it was. I took £6 on Vance's Yacht.
Oh, well. Thanks all the same, George.
Hey, wait a minute. You say you put 1,000 on it?
That's right.
Impossible. Couldn't have.
Oh, why not?
Well, it opened in the betting at 20 to 1, and it came into 16s, and it went out to 18 to 1, and that was its starting price.
So?
Well, with 1,000 quid on it, he wouldn't have started at 18s.
Wouldn't it?
Never. He'd have been near favourite instead of an outsider. He'd have gone off at 5 to 1. 4s even. This fella's been having you on.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you, George.
Hey, can't you introduce him to me? Sounds a right mug.
He's not, you know.
What can he do about the dates on these documents?
Nothing. He can't prove anything.
Why offer him money?
Well, Mark is a very persistent man.
Where's his office?
Just down the road. If you can buy him off, then do so.
What's his price?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it can't be higher than yours, can it?
You've had fair value.
Like hell I have. If you'd had those papers in on time, this whole business would be finished by now.
All right, so I forgot.
You had a hangover, you mean? Don't worry, I forgive you. Don't think I'm not grateful.
If I was a good lawyer, I wouldn't be doing it.
If I was a good businessman, I wouldn't need you.
How's the wife taking it?
I don't know.
Happy to be so rich. I would be. You can trust her, I hope.
Of course I can trust her.
Missed you.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Where have you been?
A couple of months in Mallorca.
With Mel?
Some of the time.
Hello, Lewis's car, huh? Yes, sir. Uh-huh, that's 8:15 to take you to London Airport. Uh-huh, very good, sir. We'll be there on the dot. Thank you very much, sir. Where were we?
Why did you send that man round?
Look, Sandra, I need that money back. Rather badly.
Why didn't you come and ask me yourself?
Well, I thought Marco could handle Mel better than I could.
But Mel hasn't got any money, has he?
Come off it, Sandra.
Well, he hasn't.
Well, that's what he says. I suppose you believe it.
You think I'm that daft? What happens to me if this man Marker upsets everything?
I wouldn't let him.
You couldn't stop him.
Look, all I want from Mel is my 1,500.
Will you chance ruining me to get it?
Well, you talked me into lending it.
Look, Tom, I'm sorry. I believed what he told me. I honestly thought you could make some money.
Yeah, well, that's what he wanted you to believe. Anyway, it's damn near ruined me. It will if I don't get it in the next couple of weeks.
It's not that bad, is it?
You're too right it's that bad. Couldn't you lend it to me?
I haven't got any cash, Tom.
No, he's got it somewhere. Why stay with him?
Where am I supposed to go? Back to Mother?
You don't have to go anywhere. It's your house. Kick him out.
I couldn't do that.
You could, you know. What's more, it'd make life a damn sight easier.
It would. Well, you're not stupid, are you?
Only 1,500 quid worth.
Look, Tom, that money you could push too hard.
Look, I'm being pushed hard.
Tom, you're being silly. You can't prove Mel has got any money. The only person who can help you get your 1,500 back is me.
Okay, lovely, so do it.
But it would be my money I'd be giving you, wouldn't it? I mean, legally it's mine.
Yes, legally, I suppose.
Well, why should I? What do I get out of it?
Come on, Sandra. Forget him.
Let's think about it, eh? In the meantime, I tell you what you should do.
Any reason why I shouldn't order you to leave?
I apologize, Mr. Marker, but you upset my wife and I was angry.
Well, your fault for not telling her. You sure you don't want a cup of tea?
No, thank you.
All right, then. What do you want?
Well, it's a delicate matter.
Oh, come on. It's not all that delicate, is it? You've been to see Adams. He told you to come round here and offer me money.
I resent that.
Well, Adams tried it. I told him what to do. Didn't he give you the message?
What message?
Oh, dear, he must have forgotten. I'm not on the market yet, Mr. Peters.
I could pay you well.
What with?
Cash. You've no need to know where it comes from.
It comes from Tom Lewis and several more like him. No, thanks. I'd sooner be paid at source.
Lewis paying you?
He will.
You must be an optimist. It's not what he's after. Not me, or the money so much. It's my wife he wants.
What gives you that idea?
I've known it a long time.
Since when?
Since he was driving me around.
And taking you home, paralytic, and helping your wife put you to bed? Why, did you think there was something going on between them there?
There still is.
Oh, not the kind of man to put up with that sort of thing, are you?
What am I supposed to do about it?
Well, you're Mrs., don't you know?
Look, Mr. Marker, I did all this for Sandra, turned everything over to her, so she'd never be in need. All right, so that's natural business precaution to take when you're heading for the rocks, but I did it because I love her.
I don't believe you. You conned Tom Lewis into giving you money, knowing you were going broke. You did that out of spite, because of what you thought was going on between him and your wife. You paid Adams to put a false date on those property deeds.
Prove it.
I can't. But I tell you what I can prove. I can prove that you never put the £1,000 on Vance's yacht at Windsor last January. I'm sorry, Mr. Peters. It's not Tom Lewis and your wife you're worried about. You're scared of losing the money.
How can I convince you?
You don't need to. You're not my client. Bye, Mr. Peters.
Do you think you got him?
I don't know. But there are holes in his story. And if the official receiver gets his claws into him, he could very well tear them wide open.
Where does that leave Sandra?
Where she started, with nothing.
Did you try and buy you off?
Of course.
How much for?
We didn't get that far.
Should have taken his money, Frank.
Huh?
I think we should call the whole thing off.
Oh, sorry, I don't get you.
Everything's going to be all right. Sandra's going to fix it.
Fix what? What have you been up to?
Just a little bit of work behind the scenes, so to speak. You're Mr. Peters. Boy, oh boy, is he in for a nasty shot.
What, you mean you don't want me to do any more?
Look, go back to him, Frank. Take him up. Screw the bastard for a few quid. He'll pay.
You're not even trying to beat these con artists, are you? You want to join them?
Oh, Sandra's not a con artist.
Isn't she?
No.
Oh, well, you've been had once, why not?
What do you mean? Hey, Frank!
Multiple finance. Mr. Williams, please. Yep. Mr. Williams, Frank Marker here. About Melville Hayden Peters. Yes, I know. I understand all that, Mr. Williams. All right, but could you bear with me for just one moment? I advised you that Peters was a good credit risk. Well, he was, and he still is. Hey, but I know a bit more about him now. He's got concealed assets. He must be lying to the receiver, that's all. I understand that, but it's possible I could prove this, in which case we could get some of our money back. I'm sorry, multiple finance money. Look, if I recover more than 50%, are we back in business for the future? Fair enough. No fee this time. Shall we just say I don't like letting my clients down? Yeah. Goodbye.
How did you get on?
Marker wouldn't be bought.
Well, don't worry. He's dropped the inquiry.
You talk nonsense, I've just left him.
You can stop treating me like a fool. I've already fixed it.
You what?
I got Tom Lewis to call him off.
You've been seeing him?
Well, I didn't do it by telepathy.
No right to be meddling in this. Don't know a damn thing about it.
Yes, I do.
What'd you tell Lewis?
I said he might get his money back.
I'll be damned if he will. He's going to the wall, that one. He's going to hit it a damn sight harder than I did.
No, I might pay him. At least I think I might.
What with?
If I get a good price for this house.
You what?
I'm selling it.
You can't do that.
Well, it's mine, isn't it?
No, damn well it isn't.
Well, either it belongs to me or to those people you owe money to. It certainly isn't yours. Pour me a drink, will you?
What's got into you, Sandra? Would you mind telling me?
I don't like living here. I think it's a dump. I prefer living in London.
There's money to be made here.
I think I'll live in Chelsea, one of those little houses off the King's Road.
What, 50,000 quid's worth? Where's that coming from, may I ask?
Assets. My assets.
Oh, don't be so bloody stupid. No, they're not really yours.
Legally, it's mine. How much more real do you want to get?
Do you mean all this?
Every word of it. I think you better take me out tonight. You haven't done that for ages, have you? Where shall we go? Regano's?
Regano's? Hell of a lot of money.
Okay, we'll go there. And if you're going to get drunk again, we'll get a taxi. I don't want my car to get damaged.
All right. We could hire your friend Lewis.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It was a joke, my dear. Funny joke. Not to be taken seriously.
Well, why not? I won't ask him to eat with us. We'll make him wait outside.
Very interesting. She sighted last year, she said.
Mm-hmm. And with no prompting from me.
She'll be prompted by somebody else now, unfortunately. The story will be quite different and difficult to disprove. But the bets on horses
can be proved to be false. Well, one of them at least.
One's enough. You've done some very good work, Mr. Marker. I, for one, am very grateful.
That's all.
But why did this chap Lewis drop you from the case?
No, he's come to some arrangement with the wife. He thinks she's going to pay the money.
Can't be done.
Well, what's to stop her?
There's nothing to stop her paying the debt. He can't receive it, that's all.
He couldn't grab it fast enough.
I'd submit it was a fraudulent preference, favouring one creditor at the expense of the others. Which means that any money he received should be handed over to the trustee for the benefit of all the creditors. He'd be on very shaky ground if he accepted it.
Is that so?
Well, the money would have come from the husband, or has she some resources of her own?
Well, none that I know of.
Well, then it would be so.
Well.
Let me get you a drink. You've earned it.
I've got to see how it turns out, haven't I? Professional curiosity. Do you think she will give you the money?
Tonight, possibly.
Tonight?
I'm taking them up to Regano's. He's hitting the bottle again. She doesn't want him to take the rolls. After all, 'tis hers now.
And will you be helping her put him to bed again?
Well, you never know your luck, do you? She'll be looking after me one way or the other, that's for sure.
Lucky you. Let me know what happens.
All of it?
I trusted.
No, you didn't. You never told me anything.
Should never have done it.
It's a bit late now, isn't it?
Did it all for you.
Well, why shouldn't you?
Oh, that is charming. Charming.
Well, go on. Tell me why you married me.
I wonder whatever happened to that old-fashioned for better or worse bit.
Look, Mel, you used me to hide behind, but you hadn't got the guts or decency to tell me why.
That's such a crime.
I was entitled to know.
What would you have done if I had told you? Walked out on me. I know you too well, my dear. You'd have been off with that idiot Lewis at the first sign, wouldn't you? Except, of course, he hasn't got any money either.
Thank you very much. Lovely speech. Now, can we go?
Where to? Your house?
Certainly, until you find somewhere else. I won't be unreasonable. Please ask for the bill.
Could I have the bill?
Right away, sir. Table 4. No, wait a moment. Perhaps I'd better take it. Thank you, sir. Glad you enjoyed your meal, madam.
Good God Almighty, what's
Is
this?
something wrong, sir?
£17.
£17.95. There were some drinks.
I don't get anything like it. My rich wife will
I
pay.
have £5.
Will you take a check?
Do you have a banker's card, sir?
Well,
if you'd just put your name and address on the back, sir.
I'm going to go into this business next.
What about Tom?
Sonny, you pay. I'm skinned.
Money, I'm just looking for that now. Will £5 do?
I'm talking about the money he owes me. Did you manage to do anything?
Oh, that? Oh, no, nothing, I'm afraid.
But you said that...
What did I say?
Well, you said you'd fix it for me. My 1,500 quid.
I said I'd try, Tom.
Well?
I didn't succeed.
Hey!
Not happened.
I got taken for a ride. I got my fare, that's all.
Too bad.
I don't know what to do now. She wouldn't give it to me, he hasn't got it. And then a fight between the pair of them last night.
So who paid for the meal? Hey, not you.
He gave him a check.
You gave him a what?
A check.
A check?
Yes. Well, bouncer, I suppose. They were arguing about it on the way home.
He gave them a check at Regano's?
Yes.
You got your car outside?
Yes.
Come on.
Hey?
Regano's!
Oh. Yes, indeed, I do remember the couple. Very well.
And the gentleman paid the bill by check?
He had no cash. I couldn't very well refuse it.
Did he put his name and address on the back?
Of course. We couldn't accept it without. It was a Mr. Peterson with an address in Windsor.
Peters?
No, Peterson, I think.
Can I see the check?
Is it a bad one?
All I know is he's an undischarged bankrupt. He shouldn't have a bank account.
Oh, no.
I'd like to keep this for half an hour, get it photostated. May I do that? Do you think I could have a word with Mr. Brown, please? Marker, Eaton High Street. Thank you. Hold on.
Why your bank manager?
I make unofficial inquiries for all sorts of people, you know. I'm going to put him to work on this.
What can he do?
I'm going to ask him to ask the manager of the Slough branch of the National Metropolitan to supply a bank reference for Mr. Martin Peterson, as he calls himself over there. We'll ask if he's good for what? 25,000 for buying a house?
Will he do that?
No, it's all right. I'll wait. Thank you. Oh, banks are banks. They take care of each other, you know. That should give us a pretty fair idea of what he's actually worth.
Bet you it's at least 25.
At least.
I shouldn't think there's much hair left on that door.
Where have you been?
Up to town. I found just what I want in Chelsea. The agent thinks I'll have about 10,000 to spare.
Out of what?
After selling this place.
Well, he'll have to think again, won't he?
Well, maybe he's being optimistic. Say 8,000.
You're serious about this?
Yes, why shouldn't I be?
Well, if you don't know, doll, there's no point in my saying, is there?
You think you're really something, don't you? Well, let me tell you, life with you has been just nothing. Even when you had money.
Mummy's lovely little daughter. Oh, Diddums.
Get stuffed.
You're not going to get away with it, you know.
No?
I'm in court tomorrow.
And the best of luck, Mel. I mean that sincerely.
You're telling me the date on this deed of settlement is wrong?
That's right. It was executed last year, 1971, not 1970.
You realize what you're saying, Mr. Hayden Peters?
Yes, Your Honor.
The settlement is null and void.
Yes.
What roughly is the property worth?
I'm informed it would fetch 50 to 60,000 pounds, Your Honor.
Which would give the creditors perhaps a dividend of 60 pence in the pound.
That's correct, sir. How did this mistake occur?
I don't know.
I don't think there's any point in pressing him further on this, Mr. Francis. He has admitted the mistake, which is to be commended in him.
Very well, sir. There is one point I would like to press with Mr. Hayden Peters, should it please Your Honor?
Yeah.
It's the matter of your bank account under the name of Peterson that you opened in January of last year with the Slough branch of the National Metropolitan. You have £30,000 there in the deposit account, and in your current account, £6,813, 29 pence, as of close of trading yesterday PM. Is that correct?
Where did you get this from?
Answer the question.
I have here a photostat of a cheque drawn by Mr. Hayden Peters on his current account, made payable to Rogano's restaurant, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Hayden Peters?
That is correct.
Before you go any further, Mr. Francis, I feel I should tell you that I shall very likely be sending the papers in this case to the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Excuse me, sir. I'm a sheriff's officer. May I have the keys of your car? Thank you.
Stupid idiot.
This was all your fault.
Sandra, please.
Never mind. Looks as if you got your money back.
Do you fancy a drink?
Yes, why not? But it's not coming off the bill. Mr. Williams, please. Credit information. Hi. Mr. Williams, Frank Marker here. I got some good news. Yes, isn't it? Our friend Mr. Peters looks like 20 shillings in the pound. 100 pence, then. There's still good news. What'd you like to know? Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. I understand that, Mr. Williams. But we all make mistakes from time to time. Well, can't I persuade you to reconsider? All right. No, I see. Goodbye. Oh!
Well, yes. You know, if I've got one, I must have 1,000. Case of the thing's never been opened. I just can't shift them.
It's the same with me. Stockroom's bursting.
Bursting with what? Plastic lampshades. Oh, those. My 3 most unfavourite words. Plastic lampshade.
Why do we keep getting landed, Brian?
Company policy.
What does that mean? Mind your own bloody business?
Like all our plastic fences, they're made in Hong Kong, right?
Right.
Right.
The American parent owns the Hong Kong factory, right?
Say no more. Everybody's copying a bit while we have to struggle.
Gentlemen, you're missing a rare work of art up there.
Art who? Yeah, who's nicked the brandy?
Brandy? Brandy? Brandy?
You're economizing, Paul.
They still have to be written down and sold off. I could fill a dozen counters with them right now.
Tell the chairman.
The vicar's sister returns early from choir practice.
I say, Paul, are you sure we haven't seen this one before?
Quite sure.
I wouldn't mind it in the flesh.
You know, I'd swear I'd seen it.
I've seen one, seen them all, as the actor said.
Oh, wouldn't kick her out of bed, would you?
True, very true.
I'd as lief have a good game of cards.
Yeah, spoken like a true Englishman.
How are those Fruits de mer of yours going, Paul?
Fabulous. Sales chaps reckon they'll put us on the national map.
Really? Here, what's wrong with Brian?
Left the kettle on.
I told him gin and shellfish don't mix. What are you retailing them at?
10 7-ounce packs, $3.15 a case. Beautiful, aren't they, John?
Very nice.
You wouldn't mind giving them a whirl.
Pleasure. To the store or home?
Naive question.
God,
oh.
look at that.
I dare we went on to see that new play. Oh, yes, yes. No, I haven't seen it. Is it good? Who else is there?
2 more of these, please,
No, I'm
darling.
fine.
Make it 1, Emily. Charge it, sweetheart. 474. You all right, Brian?
No, fine.
What was it? Someone walk over your grave?
No, I
Just a touch of heartburn. I get it occasionally.
Well, we have been mixing our metaphors, haven't we? Yeah. Thank you, darling.
But why?
Nothing in the film you objected to?
Oh, good Lord, no. Guide stuff. Cheers.
Would you like me to drive you home?
No, I'll be fine. I'll just sit here for a few minutes.
Right. Well, I'll get back and see the boys are well tended to.
You do that. What time does Mr. Marker get here?
I'm Marker. Do you want to see me? Here, come in. Sorry if I've kept you hanging about. What can I do for you, Mr.
Summers?
Now, take a seat, Mr. Summers.
I want you to find my daughter.
Mm-hmm. How old is she?
She's 24.
Well, that took a bit of working out, didn't it?
Well, she's been gone some time.
Well, how long?
5 years.
You have no idea where she is?
None at all.
Not the vaguest?
No.
You know, Mr. Summers, this is a police job. They've got the manpower, the resources. I'm just one pair of feet. I could work a whole year on this and get nowhere.
Inspector Percy Fairbank recommended you.
Did he?
Not for this, for some other job. I kept your name on the file.
Yes, all right, Mr. Summers, I'll try. I'll try, although you must know the odds are fantastic. Now, what's your daughter's name?
Janice. I saw her last night.
I beg your pardon?
In a blue movie. A blue movie.
Have you got a photograph?
I have. I jotted down a few relevant details on the back. My address, phone number, etc.
I imagine this was taken a few years ago, is it?
5 years ago.
Why did she leave home?
I threw her out. I didn't approve of... Oh, she was becoming a slut.
Have you heard from her between then and seeing this film last night?
Not one word.
And then why do you want her back?
Why? Well, she's my daughter, that's why.
She was your daughter the day you kicked her out.
Good God, man, have you the remotest idea what it's like bringing up a teenage girl today? Have you?
No, not firsthand.
Well, it's not difficult anymore. It's impossible. I'm sorry. You think I haven't regretted it? I've wished it undone 1,000 times.
You know, Mr. Summers, the fact that you haven't heard from her for 5 years probably means she doesn't want to be found.
Aye, I've thought of that.
Either that or something's happened to her. Well, these are possibilities that have to be faced. Now, if I were to find her, 1,000,000 to 1 chance, but if I did, what would you do?
I don't really know. I'd talk to her, I suppose. I'd try to talk to her. Where would you start?
Oh, with the film. Where did you see it?
The Vale Hotel. It's out on the airport road, you know it?
Mm-hmm.
Room 474. Mr. Haley. He's the national rep for a frozen food company. Ice Line, you know?
Mm-hmm. Will he still be there?
If the room's paid for till noon, he'll leave at 1 minute to.
And he laid it all on, did he? The room, the film. Oh, did it have a title, by the way?
I believe The Parson Knows.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who needs who? Do you need him, or does he need you?
He needs me. I retail his product.
So, if necessary, I can lean on him a bit.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, my rate is £6.50 per day.
Fine.
Plus expenses. I mention that because anything I get, if anything, will have to be bought.
Receipts?
Well, not if we want anybody to tell us anything.
No, of course not. I wasn't thinking.
Well, as soon as I've got something, I'll let you know.
I will. Try. Please try.
Yes, sir.
Percy Fairbank spoke very highly of you.
Frank Marker to speak to Inspector Furbank, please.
72 2-pound packs peas ice lime. Got that. How's your boyfriend, darling? Sack him. Yeah, we might go somewhere one weekend, eh? 36 1-pound packs prawns, Norwegian peeled. The push, not locked. 3 dozen 36, that is 3-pound packs pastry, short crust. Look, leave it there a moment, will you, darling? Pull it back.
Mr. Haley?
Yeah?
I've come to do you a favour.
Oh. How much is it going to cost me?
Absolutely free.
Can't afford it.
No, I'm going to take the films and the projector back for you.
Take them back where?
Where you got them from?
Who are you?
The man who's going to take back the projector.
Like hell you are.
Pretty scampi, fluted potato fries, yum.
Good morning.
How do you think your company would react? I can just see the headlines, can't you? Blue movies sell salmon fish cakes.
Who the hell are you?
Look, just give me the paperwork and I'll return all the gear for you.
It's Brown Summers, isn't it? You're involved in this with him.
Is he important to you?
Summers?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I hear different. Now, don't quote me, but if I were you, I'd do as I was told. Eh? Ah, dear old Soho, should have known.
My frozen goods are no worse than anybody else's.
The quick and the frozen.
I mean, how the hell else am I going to get them in the supermarket freezers?
Just 2 films.
It's on that ticket. 2 spools, 400 foot, 8mm colour.
The parson knows fun and frolic with Francine and Frida. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Oh, anything to pay?
You'll find that out, won't you?
And he wants you to find her after 5 years?
That's right.
I thought he'd written her off. You know, I have no daughter. You know the line?
Apparently not.
This it?
Yes, top one.
Ah, the parson knows. All right, Frank. Thread it up.
What now?
Why not?
Well, where are you going to show it?
Well, you got the screen. Come on.
Blue movies in the nick. Move the table down. Hey, anybody comes in, you'll get shot.
Thanks for reminding me.
How well do you know Summers? How long have you known him?
Oh, about 3 years. His wife knows my Gwen. That's how it came about.
But you never met the daughter, Janice?
Can't have done. She must have left before we met them.
Oh, dear. 3-point plug, 2-point hole.
Well, with the plug off. You know how it's done.
What did you recommend me for?
Me recommend you?
Summers.
Oh, he wanted someone to help out in one of his stores. A couple of hours on a Saturday. Security. There was a fiver in it. Thought you might be interested. Or at least know someone who was. All set?
Not yet. They'll probably fuse the whole block.
How does he ever expect you to find her?
Through this.
But they're 20 to the dozen nowadays. Show them at all the rugby club booze-ups.
Doesn't that bother you?
Officially or otherwise?
Well, both.
Well, officially, I haven't got the time. Otherwise, I couldn't care less.
Not unless it happened to be your daughter, eh?
Ooh, the old Puritan backlash.
Percy, it's always somebody's daughter.
Oh, come on, Frank. It's part of life's rich tapestry, you know, along with your pawn shops, bent sauna bars and massage parlours. All set? Come on, Frank.
Yeah, all right. I think I've run on enough.
All right. My God. You don't honestly think this is going to corrupt anybody? You could show this at choir practice. Is that her?
No. That's her.
Pretty girl.
Yes, isn't she?
Can't you stop the film?
Not without burning it.
Hey, quick, pull the bit out. Oh. Thanks, up. 2 cups of Holmes tea.
What do you mean, Holmes?
On Her Majesty's service.
Oh, no. Did you know Summers and his daughter had had this bust-up?
Well, I told you we didn't know them very well. Didn't even know about the baby until a year or so ago.
What baby?
Well, Janice is. Didn't he tell you?
No.
Well, apparently that's what the last row was all about. At least, that's how I heard it.
I see. She gets herself pregnant and he boots her out. Oh, no wonder he's so touchy. It's a bit pre-war, though, isn't it?
Well, the fellow, whoever he was, wanted to go through with it, you know? Marriage, the whole bit, but she wasn't having any. About as stubborn as her dad.
Oh, well. Thanks for the use of the hall.
Well, good luck. I think you're going to need it.
I think so, too.
Oh, and, Frank, don't get arrested.
Excuse me. Afternoon. There we are.
What happened to Haley?
Flu.
FLU or FLEW?
The hot lemon and watery eyes kind.
Seemed all right yesterday.
Yeah, didn't we all?
Come on.
What do you want?
Plug. 5 amp fused.
There we are. I've got a client who's anxious to meet one of the young ladies in this picture.
The parson knows.
How will I go about it?
Search me.
Oh, promises, promises.
Push off. I got things to do.
I'll make it worth your while.
Friend, this place doesn't look much, does it? Doesn't even smell good. But for all of that, it makes $1,000 a week gross. Now, gross can you get?
Oh, nice. It's very nice. But it's not yours, is it? It's you're just a front man, aren't you?
True, but I don't have to stoop for fag ends.
Look, you know the geezer who supplies the merchandise. Put me in touch.
Go away.
Oh, look, mate. If it comes to it, I'll walk round to West End Central, have a bit of a whisper in a certain CID man's ear.
I'm scared stiff.
How much do they pay you? 100 a week? You can't afford to lose that, can you? Look, I know how this caper works, don't I? You're only useful to them up to the time you've been nicked. One little conviction, that's all, and you're out.
It's a first offence. Just a fine.
You're deliberately misunderstanding me, aren't you? The fine's nothing. We all know that. But once you've got form, once you've been nicked, you're no good as a front man anymore. They dump you.
All right.
I mean, is it worth it? All I want's an introduction.
Go on this way. You can make yourself a lot of friends. I'll fix a meeting, right?
Tom.
I'll speak to Mr. Lucas, please.
Hello, sir, mate, all right? Hello, Roy, mate. Good to see you, all right? Tone, you want a minute for me?
Mr. Lucas?
You can keep it, mate. It's last week's.
Thanks. What you drinking?
Well, seeing as you're buying, I'll have a whiskey. A double.
Why not? Another large whiskey here, please.
I didn't get your name.
How's business?
Which business?
Well, not the funny stuff, the other kind.
We exist.
You work in a film lab.
Now, let's not play This Is Your Life, eh? We both know why we're here, don't we?
The parson knows.
It's a great title.
Isn't it? Isn't it, though? I'm interested in tracing one of the girls in that film.
Why?
That's my interest. So?
Well, it's a good job for you I've got a memory, isn't it?
Why, an old film, is it?
You're kidding. 4, 5 years? You think that's blue? Get that on general release today.
You had something to do with it, didn't you?
Yeah, I souped it.
I
slipped it in the night bath along with some regular footage.
Oh. And you've been doing the same thing ever since?
No, sir. I saw where the money stopped, so I became a distributor. You want to book a picture? I book one for you.
I'll bet you feel good going home in the tube.
No. When I feel good, is sitting in my E-type, watching the others go home in a tube. So, how can I help you, Squire?
A name. Somebody actually involved in making that film.
Ah, well, now that's the $64 question now, isn't it?
But you hang on long enough and the funniest things become valuable, don't they?
Well, why don't we say a nominal £25?
But I was thinking more of a nominal 10.
You know something? $64 is £25. Give or take a few cents.
I still like 10.
No, if she's worth finding at all, she's worth 20.
Oh, well, you can't be too careful, can you?
You want the cameraman, Phil Craig. Craig. He used to be a first-class operator. Camera operator. He's lighting now.
Mm-hmm. If he was a first class, how comes
I
he...
often ask the same question.
Any idea where he is now?
No. The union probably have an address. Or you could ring round the studios. The ones that are working, that is. 2 calls should about do it.
Right, thanks very much. Same again.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
Can we have 2 more large whiskies, please?
Huh?
What's so funny?
I was betting this one would be a single.
Expenses.
Are you working for the husband? Father, brother?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Well, this girl?
Janice. Yeah.
I'll give you a tip, mate. Don't forget the convents.
They weren't very high on my list.
Well, turning tricks and dirty pictures doesn't leave far. I mean, it's a far cry from the Academy Awards.
Where do you reckon I'd find her? On the game?
Yeah. Or worse.
It's worse.
She could be dead. Cheers.
Cheers.
Free cakes, was it? That's right, yes. Cute. Do you want to order now, sir?
No, thank you, miss. I'm waiting for something.
Still waiting.
Still waiting. Mrs. Summers.
Percy, I'm dreadfully sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I want to go waiting in a couple of minutes.
The car had a flat. The 16 minutes bus didn't turn up. Minicabs couldn't help.
Relax. We'll order first, shall we? Then we can sit and talk.
Oh, tea and scones, please.
For 2.
2 tea and scones. Cakes to follow.
Well, let's wait till we get there, shall we?
How's Gwen? I really must ring her.
Oh, she's well, thanks. She'd like to hear from you. Has Brian been all right recently?
Yes. How do you mean, all right?
Well, has he seemed preoccupied, worried?
Yes, but that's not unusual for him. He's a natural worrier, you know. He hasn't done anything silly, has he?
No.
I know he took a cab home the other night, but he never takes the car. He has these parties he has to attend.
It's nothing like that.
What's wrong?
Well, the point is, I'm sticking my neck out, and I'm not enjoying it.
I can't say anything. I don't really know what you mean.
Did you know that Brian had hired a private detective?
No. What for?
To find Janice.
Oh, God, why? Why ever now, of all times?
You did say cakes, didn't you?
Yes.
Bon appetit.
If it helps at all, I do know that she was once a drug addict. What worse can you tell me?
Well, a couple of nights ago, Brian saw a film, a sort of near-blue movie. Janice was involved in it.
Actually, in the film? Oh, God. Poor Brian.
It must have hit him pretty hard. Thank you. You see, I recommended this man, Marker, this private detective, to Brian a long time ago about something quite different. So you see, I've got a foot in each camp.
Thank you for warning me.
Well, I thought it might save some ugliness. She's alive, isn't she? Do you know where she is?
Yes, I do. But I promised I
Oh,
wouldn't.
don't tell me. It's the last thing I want to know.
How close is this detective to finding her?
Well, apparently his only lead is this film.
That must be years old.
How do you know?
I know. I'm sorry. That seems rude. What I'm trying to say is that, well, everything bad that happened, and there was a lot, happened soon after she left home.
Well, he hasn't got much chance of finding her then, has he?
Perhaps he's easily discouraged.
Oh, that's one thing he's not.
What do I do?
Be prepared. That's about all I can suggest.
Percy, this friend of yours, the detective, Marker, could you not tell him something that wouldn't exactly put him on the wrong track, but would put him off?
Even if I did, he wouldn't believe me. And I won't. I can't.
Everything all right?
Magnificent. Make her day. Have a cake.
Mr. Craig, Phil Craig.
The very same.
I hope I'm not tearing you away from anything important.
Only the big scene where Paul Newman shoots it out with McQueen. No, it's a 15-second furniture polish commercial.
Not a breathtaking epic.
You could say. But I'm a little old for clambering up a 60-foot gantry with a tripod on my back.
Old? Or what are you, 50?
54. And tell me which child wonder director wants a hoary 50-year-old doing his setups for him.
Well, any of them would, I should think.
Logic. You're obviously not in the business. Still, the Craig family eats again this week. And even furniture polish is a step up on Ealing Labour Exchange. Well, what have you got for me? A low-budget quickie or 3.5 months in the Sinai Desert?
Well, neither, I'm afraid. I wanted some information.
Ask. Ask.
Oh, 4 or 5 years ago, you worked on a blue movie skin flick. I don't know what you call them.
Me? Craig? King Phil of the 2nd Units? I'm sorry, you got the wrong guy.
No, I don't think so.
Nor do I. The question is, which one?
Oh, this was one with a girl in it called Janice Summers.
You really think that means something? That the name Janice Summers will conjure up an instant picture? I don't remember the pack shot from last week's beer commercial.
Well, the film was called The Parson Knows.
Oh, that's better. Well, a little better. Phew, was it 5 years ago?
Well, 4 or 5.
Life, where are you? Where did you go? Why didn't you wait for me? But at least I catch up on my reading.
Well, you see, I'm looking for Janice. Well, what's so funny?
You seem a decent enough fellow. You don't understand. When you're making a blue film, you don't just stand around passing the time of day. You just hope that nobody recognizes you. No publicists on the set. It's about as chatty as the gents' toilet on Piccadilly Tube Station. You think about one thing. Putting the loot in your pocket and getting out.
No, I take your point.
Janice Summers. No vibrations.
Well, does this help?
No, not one bit. Pretty girl. No bone structure. 10 years, she'll be like any other middle-aged dumpling. That shocks you, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does a bit. I mean, after all, you saw a lot of her, didn't you?
I've seen the best. One more bit of tail, 2 more tits. It's just flesh. Film. Celluloid. That's what turns me on. Years ago, many years ago, I photographed a test on Marilyn Monroe. She had a mole on her cheek. Now, which cheek, right or left, I don't remember. So what chance has your little Miss Suburbia got?
Phil?
Coming. Have you struck that ceiling piece yet?
Monsieur Truffaut. Well, I haven't helped you, have I?
Well, no, not much. Look, do you remember anybody else who was involved? Well, would you not have a drink for your trouble?
No. Look, I tell you what. If you're not doing anything Saturday night, catch half an hour of the midnight movie.
Oh, one of yours?
An early Cold War epic. Lots of damp, glistening streets, day for dawn, shadows, low-key stuff, distant trains clanking, lots of moody. You could smell how raw it was. Phil Craig, by kind permission of James Wong Howe, Greg Toland, Arthur Edison and company. Cheers. Be lucky.
Oh, hello, Mr. Summers.
You left it unlocked?
Yes, I was only across the road. Doesn't look good, I'm afraid.
Nothing?
No. That film led nowhere. I spoke to the cameraman, man who made it. He's got no idea what happened to him.
No point in my talking to him?
No.
Couldn't you offer him some money?
Oh, I did. That film's 4 or 5 years old.
Yes, I thought she hadn't changed much. That doesn't help, does it?
No, not really.
5 years. What in God's name's happened to her?
Oh, it could be anything, couldn't it, literally? Even the Salvation Army.
You don't believe her?
Ah, it happens. Look, unless you want me to have a word with your wife about it...
I'm sorry, what were you going to suggest?
Well, just that unless you want me to approach it from another direction, you know, where Janice worked, her boyfriend's, girlfriend's address book, that kind of thing, I think it would be better to rule it off right now.
You think?
Oh, I do. You can follow a piece of string just so far.
Well, let me sleep on it.
Why not?
I'll call you in the morning.
Right. S06E01. Ah, morning, Mr. Summers. You have? Leave it there. All right, I'll make up a bill for you. No, not really. They're pretty unsatisfactory all round, isn't it? As you wish. Goodbye.
Mr. Marker?
That's right, yeah.
You're the detective.
Well, inquiry agent, Rose by any other name, you know.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Summers.
Sit down, Mrs. Summers, sit down. Very pleased to meet you.
You can guess why I'm here.
Well, I guess what it's about, why, is a bit more difficult.
You're looking for Janice.
Correct.
How near are you to finding her?
Inquiries are proceeding.
What exactly does that mean?
That means, Mrs. Summers, that I was hired by your husband.
How do you know that she's not dead?
Well, for one thing, there'd be a copy of the death certificate at Somerset House, and for another, you wouldn't have asked how close I was, would you?
That assumes that I knew.
Does, doesn't it?
Mr. Marker, if you tell my husband where Janice is, you'll be doing him the gravest disservice. Janice only left home after the bitterest rows. For 2 years or more, life was sheer hell. For Brian as much as for anyone else.
Oh, yes, she told me. Well, words to that effect.
He forgets how awful it was. Now, Janice doesn't want to see him again. Ever.
And he's keen to make his peace. An only child, you can hardly blame him.
But I do blame him. Oh, I suppose she was at fault, too. But you see, my husband always has to be in the right. It's part of the duty of being a father, to his way of thinking. There's a way back in Dundee in the 30s when he was a boy. God knows I've tried to get him to move with the times. But he caused it. He made her go.
Oh, yes, he's admitted that. Now he wants to put things straight.
Well, it won't work. Janice doesn't want it.
What do you want?
I want what's best for them.
Who's them?
For Janice and her father. She's married. You would have found out.
I see. Who told you I was looking for her?
Well, my husband, of course.
Not true. I wanted to have a word with you, he wouldn't let me. No, there's only one person it could have been. Percy Fairbank. What's he got to do with it?
I'm a friend of his wife's. He just warned me, that's all.
Why?
Friendship. But, Mr. Marker, could you and I not come to some arrangement?
Yeah, might be arranged.
How far have you got?
I thought you'd asked me that once already. Shall we say that, what with birth certificates, national health numbers, income tax returns, passports, it's not as easy to disappear as it used to be.
But I thought you needed official help to get access to that kind of thing.
Oh, what makes you think that Fairbank's the only policeman I know? Mrs. Summers, at the moment, I'm the only one working this case, but if your husband's really determined, he'll bring in one of the agencies. They'll find her, sooner or later.
The sender's address is on the back.
Tulmut, New South Wales.
It's about 100 miles outside Canberra.
And who's P. Henderson?
That's Peter, Janice's husband. He's an osteopath. They emigrated soon after he qualified.
Well, then why all the secrecy?
She just doesn't want Brian turning up on her doorstep, that's all.
Not likely, I would have thought. If I tell him she's gone to Australia, that should do the trick, shouldn't it?
Especially if you tell him that she never wants to see him again. Ever.
But I've only got your word for that.
And look, Mr. Marker, it's over 5 years. No letter, no postcard, not even a telephone call. You're the detective. How would you interpret it?
Morning, Mr. Marker.
Morning, George.
Half a bit up.
If you please.
You look as though you lost the lost cord.
Yeah, it's about how I feel, too.
Morning, Inspector. And a double it shall be.
Good morning, Percy. How are you? Oh, pretty fit, thank you, Frank. Yourself?
Morning, Percy.
I've done that bit.
Aye.
What are you cudgelling your brains for?
Janice Summers.
Forget her.
Well, that seems to be the text for the day.
Now, look, you've had a good couple of days. Now drop it. You take any more money off him, it'll be false pretenses.
You're not joking.
No.
You seem very involved in this.
I feel responsible.
Why?
Well, I recommended you to Summers.
Oh, and I'm grateful, but do you have to keep checking on me?
Look, log up a few cushy hours. Eh? It's been done, you know. Sorry.
You're pushing me, why's that?
Come on now, Frank, admit it. This blue movie won't lead you anywhere.
Oh, I have admitted it. I came off the payroll 2 hours ago, since when people haven't stopped beating me over the head.
Well, what's the point of opening old coffins? Only going to hurt people?
The only point is if that's what you're paid to do.
Discretion is the better part, sometimes.
Besides, I've just been told where she is.
Where?
Australia.
Well, that figures.
Married an osteopath. Probably raising a brood of little slip discs by now.
So there's your answer. What are you looking so worried about?
I don't know. Something doesn't sit right.
Oh. For a moment, I thought you were going to use that magic word, hunch.
All this carry on about a girl who's safe and sound in Wagga Wagga or somewhere, I don't get it.
Perhaps we're not meant to.
And what's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. For God's sake, it's just an expression. Have a whiskey.
No, thanks. Some other time. Oh, hello, Mrs. Forsyth. You won't remember me. My name's Marker. You did some wonderful things with my back some time ago. No trouble. The thing is, I've got an elderly aunt up in the Midlands who seems to think she's slipped a disc. Yes, it is, isn't it? The point is, who can I go to find her somebody reliable? Yeah, British school, yes. Thank you. Yeah? 5085. And they'd tell me, would they? All right, thank you very much. Very kind of you. Bye. Oh. Oh, hello. British School of Osteopathy. Can I speak to the registrar, please? I wonder if you can help me. I'm trying to trace one of your members, a Peter Henderson, P.E. Henderson. He's left the country, and I wondered if you had a forwarding address. No. We owe him some money, as a matter of fact, quite a bit. Thank you. Hello, yes? No, P.E. Physical exercise. Hounslow? You sure? No, it's all right. I've got that. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Oh, hello? Is that the Henderson household, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson? Ah, well, Mandy, do you think I could have a word with your mummy? Hello, Janice? Janice Summers, that was?
All right, gentlemen. Look, Bob, I'll have to call you back, right? Fine. Very anxious for your money, aren't you?
Well, I've earned it, haven't I?
2 days, £6.50, £13. Expenses, £24.
20 of that was for the name of the cameraman.
All right. That looks all right. I'll send you a check.
Yeah, thank you.
What's this?
That's the address and the telephone number of your daughter.
But how did you...
I got lucky.
But how?
Don't ask.
Henderson? What does that mean?
It means she's married to an osteopath called Henderson. That's how I found the address. There's a child, too, a daughter called Mandy.
Is she here now?
Oh, she was when I spoke to her on the phone about 20 minutes ago.
Now I've got it, I don't know what to do.
Well, you've got two choices, haven't you? One, you can use it. Two, you can drop it in the waste paper basket.
I wonder, after all these years, maybe she's forgiven me.
I wouldn't bank on it.
Why do you say that?
She's only a few seconds away on the other end of that phone. She's never rung you. Speaks for itself.
Well, leave it with me.
Huh?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is she here? I'd like to talk to her. Alone.
She's bathing the little girl.
Can't you do that?
I'll ask her to come down. Come in.
Perhaps you'll send her down. Where do you go?
Thursday.
Where?
Australia.
Australia? Where's your husband?
He's out there already.
Okay. Do you mind if I smoke? You've hardly changed. I don't really know where to begin.
Why begin at all? You found us, seen us. Isn't that enough?
Janice, it wasn't all my fault. You and your mother, you played it so close. There was no room for me.
Room to do what?
To do anything to help.
Help?
It was always, Mummy, kiss it better. Mummy, do this. Mummy, do that. Right the way through. You never came to me. Never.
I came once.
Even then, there were 4 other people knew before I did. Always keeping the good things to tell her. What the teacher said. I remember once coming to collect you from school, walking you home. When we got there, you ran straight upstairs to tell her that you'd come top in French. You'd kept that to yourself, nursing it all the way home. Kept it to share with her.
My problems, my friends, they didn't interest you.
That's not true!
Yes, it is! Oh, 30 seconds and we're arguing again.
Janice, you know me. I'm not the sort to apologize to people easily. I've come here today to do one thing. Could you forgive me? Please?
No. The answer's no.
You're going to go and leave it like this?
I didn't ask you to come. Hiring your private Gestapo to track me down, and then you come bursting in. No, I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive you for the hateful things you said. And I'll never forgive you for the horrible, revolting things I had to do to stay alive. Never. You want a nice, clear conscience, do you? Well, you're not getting it from me.
Oh, hello, Mr. Summers.
Mr. Marker, I brought you a check.
Thank you. Oh, it's very generous. Thank you very much.
Oh, 5p off in our stores. Special offer.
Oh, thanks, I remember.
Well, I went there.
Oh, yeah?
Little Victorian house. Very nicely done up. I just parked across the road. I saw her. She's hardly changed at all. And you're right, there's a child. A girl. Pretty little thing. Well, I just sat and watched for a few moments. You know what I did? I drove away. Couldn't go through with it.
Yes, well, you were probably very wise.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, what's the point? Opening up old coffee and it only upsets people.
You don't know how right you are. She's going to Australia.
Great country.
Good place to make a new start.
The best. Well, cheerio, Mr. Summers.
Thank you, Mr. Marker.